Hello, welcome back. Always it's a pleasure to have you here, and especially on a day like today, when we are lifting the veil on the opulent lifestyle a little bit. You will gain valuable insight into the lives of the wealthy and the challenges they face on a daily basis. In this video, we will present a series of events and experiences that the average person does not get to have, but perhaps should. These are the times when the smallest details makes the biggest impact. Number 1. You no longer keep tabs on the money people owe you. Do you know how often you check your bank account to see how much money people owe you? Rich people have no idea what it's like to go without that sum of money. Because to be frank, it doesn't make much of a difference. If you owe money to wealthy people, they will assume that you're a good person who will pay it back. No one enjoys being in a group with the leeches, but it can be difficult to tell friends and foes apart in a crowd. It's well worth it to rid yourself of freeloaders, even if doing so comes at a cost. Number 2. You no longer drive unless it's for pleasure. We are all stuck in traffic, but while you are fumming because you're only making few inches of progress per minute, the wealthy in the back are busy typing away on their computers. Since having a chauffeur makes more time available for travel, it is not uncommon. The same logic applies to the affluent's preference for heliports and private jets. Only drive if it's something you really want to, not because you have to. Number 3. Going to events feels more like work than a night out. Know how regular folks always seem to be moaning about how they never seem to have the time to go to the theater or a concert? The flip side to these exists as well. Everywhere you go, women are rude, men are dull, the food all tastes the same, and people are always trying to get a buck out of you. The purpose of these gatherings is to mingle with other wealthy people and hear the latest rumors about who is dating who. Sometimes you just don't feel like going out, but you feel obligated to show up and fake a smile so everyone thinks that you're doing great anyway. Number 4. You care more about the view from a property than the price. Values change when a purchase is made purely for personal use rather than as a means to increase passive income. More square footage is always for sale, but a better outlook is harder to improve. Most people evaluate real estate based on its square footage or square meters, but they ignore important factors like the apartment's location, whether or not it has a terrace, and whether or not the apartment faces the sunset or sunrise. Keep this in mind the next time you relocate. If you're going to live somewhere, you look out the window every day. Number 5. You are glad you're going into more debt. To celebrate, a friend of ours took us out for drinks and we'll never forget it. He answered, going $5 million into debt when I asked why we were partying. Recently, he was able to secure bank financing for a real estate development project that stands to make him millions of dollars once completed. This is the exact opposite of how most people live their lives, as they're trying to get out of debt rather than incur more. Many people in the community have reached out to ask for advice on how to deal with debt, but the answers are always unique to each individual's circumstances. The one book we'd recommend above all others is The Total Money Makeover by David Ramsey. Read it twice or 3 times to make sure you understand it, and then start putting its principles into practice. Number 6. You no longer look at the price in menus. Because of our low starting income, going out was a major problem every time we were together as kids. We would often skip over an entire section of menus. Unfortunately, things are very different now. Duck? Sure, I'd love some lobster right about now. In fact, when trying out a new restaurant or cuisine, tasting menus featuring 5 to 8 courses have become the norm. To enhance the enjoyment of the meal as a whole, you opt to pair each course with a unique beverage. Finally, when the bill arrives, you can pay with a credit card instead of arguing over who ordered what and who got an extra dessert. Number 7. A quick getaway can be on the other side of the world. And if the weekend weather is bad in your city, what do? Most people just throw on a hoodie, turn on some Netflix, and veg out in bed. This is an actual conversation that we overheard at lunch. There's nothing happening this weekend and the weather is shitty. Wondering what Spain or maybe Portugal is like. And when the dessert finally arrived, they had already purchased plane tickets and made hotel reservations. Number 8. People in hotels put up a family photo in your room. This is one of the perks of staying at luxury hotels. When you book a room, the hotel investigates your identity, tastes, and preferences. This is done to ensure that your visit runs smoothly and according to your preferences. It's not often that a room is already set up with thoughtful details like a family photo in a frame, your preferred bottle of wine, and a dessert you mentioned enjoying on your last visit. Number 9. People in restaurants address you by your name. The same thing occurs while eating out. If you're at a high-end establishment, the chef and wait staff will know your name and greet you by it when you arrive. In addition, they personalize the menu by printing your name alongside items they think you like the best. Number 10. You pay ridiculous amounts of money for education. If you want to hire a good life coach, expect to pay around $1,000 per session. To give you an idea of cost, expect to pay $15,000 for a package of 18 sessions with a Tony Robbins accredited coach, not Robbins himself. When the wealthy want to learn a new skill or get some direction, they pay exorbitant fees to do so. Maybe you are thinking that they can afford to charge so much because they have access to top-tier professionals, but in most cases, that's not the case. Coaching is a referral-based industry, and some professionals cater exclusively to the wealthy. Number 11. You travel to a different country because you crave a particular food. Although it may seem ludicrous, there is something special about enjoying paella in Barcelona, an Italian meal in Modena, a steak at Don Julio in Argentina, waffles in Brussels, or sushi in Tokyo, Japan. Some people find this reason sufficient to take a short trip. It's beyond the realm of simple nourishment. It's a gastronomic adventure. Number 12. Groceries, cleaning, or bills get taken care of. Consider how nice it would be if you never had to deal with these again. All of your bills are paid on time and automatically, and your fridge is always stocked with delicious fresh products. You have no idea how much money you spend each month on utilities. Let's not bring that kind of negativity to our space, okay? It always comes as a shock to the rich when they lose everything and have to go back to normal lives to see how much it costs to keep a normal household running. Number 13. Other people plan, pack, and organize your life for you. One way the wealthy save time is by paying others to carry out tasks normally performed by themselves. You can't possibly fathom how crazy it is to plan a wedding, how difficult it is to design a whole house, or how time-consuming it is to plan a whole trip, unless you have actually done it for yourself. They have helpers who handle the tedious tasks, and while they could conveniently deviate from the advisor's recommendations, they typically stick to the tried and true methods. Number 14. You have one person who takes care of your problems. This is typically a close friend or a relative, such as the family lawyer or head of security. This is the person you contact when you make a mistake. There are plenty of people who would love to cash in on your position of power. In court of law, lawyers will ensure their clients face no more than minimum penalty allowed by law. But in cases of blackmail or scandal, the situation is often more murky. And number 15. You will be misrepresented by the media for clicks. Nothing beats seeing your face in the paper, or for those of us not living in the 19th century, on a gossipy site where your words have been twisted out of all recognition and given a clickbait title. This is a regular occurrence. Publications are struggling to stay afloat as more and more people get their news from their peers on social media, reducing news to mere headlines. Instead of doing their research before publishing the story, they choose to create scandal, controversy, or outright lie in order to grab attention.